So we're moving up really, really fast now. I mean, now we're at 52,275. And you know what it feels like? It feels like what a lot of people are actually saying out there on Twitter. It feels like we may actually even hit the all-time high before the halving. That would be absolutely crazy, but actually not as crazy as it seems, because what I'm starting to see is I'm starting to see a whole lot of data that says that this cycle is actually different. And that maybe what's happening this cycle is we're starting to do everything much earlier. And what that could mean is that the cycle has erupted much earlier, but will also end much earlier, which means we have to completely change our plans. And so we're going to talk about that. Then I'm going to show you a way which I've been doing, or something that I've been doing, which has allowed me to make a whole lot more Bitcoin in this cycle. And so maybe you can make a whole lot more Bitcoin, just like I've been making a whole lot of Bitcoin. And then I've got like 1, 2, 3, 4 altcoin trades. So we've got quite a big show today. We've got quite a lot to do here today. And we've got to do it a lot quicker than we thought, because maybe the cycle is going to be much shorter than expected. So we don't actually have enough time. So let's go. Let's get the Okay, before we start the show, please tell me that you guys have been tapping. Tap, guys, we need that airdrop. If you haven't joined the Banter squad, the tap squad, tap. We may actually get the biggest airdrop in history. There's a link below. If you're not already part of the Banter squad for this, for the 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧, it's called the Banter 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧. For this 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧 airdrop, please sign up. There is a link below. In fact, let me show you where that link is so that we don't have any misunderstandings. I know as a squad, we're doing really well. So let's just quickly go and check out, show you guys where you can sign up if you haven't already signed up. I do believe that we're actually going to get one of the biggest airdrop squad for this. For the 𝗕𝗘𝗏𝗧. So I do think that this is going to be one of the biggest airdrops in history. If you haven't signed up already, where is it, Josh? Okay, over there. So just can you simplify it and just say join the squad? Forget about learn about Ton. Just go straight into Banter, join the squad. Click this link over here. Just click that link over here. Join the squad, and then tap, guys. Tap the whole show. Come on, guys. We need to get this. To those of you that are new to the channel, don't stress. It's not always like this. But welcome, subscribe to our channel. If you are one of the regulars, well then welcome back. Smash this. You can take 1 second out of our tapping. Just take 1 second out of the tapping, and then you can go and smash the like button. As soon as you smash the like button, then just go back and just tap. I haven't been tapping a lot today. I've got 5,500 and something points today. So just guys, tap. All right, let's go. Listen, we've got alpha to talk about. And as I said to you, we probably don't have as much time as we need to, because one of the pieces of information that we're getting, or in fact, not only one of the pieces of information that we're getting, but we're getting a lot of information that basically says that this cycle is becoming much more aggressive than we previously thought. I thought that was the case when I said to you guys that I thought it was very strange that we broke that 48,000 so quickly. I said, it just doesn't make sense that we're going to break that 48,000 that quickly. And we broke it, and we broke 50,000, and now we're at 52,300. And it just doesn't feel like this thing is going to stop. And so what it does feel like is that the whole thesis of the pre-halving and everything else, it does feel like, in fact, let me just see if I can find us a little, here we go. So this whole thesis of this pre-halving dip and then breaking through here only post the halving, it looks like it's broken earlier. And so there's a lot of data which is now saying that the whole halving cycle has actually completely moved back, and we may reach all-time highs way quicker than we think. In fact, some people are saying even before the halving, we could hit the all-time high. We're going to look at all the data that actually backs all of that here today. Then, as I said to you, we have got some altcoin trades. I'm also going to show you how to land up making a lot more Bitcoin than you're currently making. It's a little trick that I've been doing. I tested it for about 3 or 4 times. It was amazing. It works. So I'm going to share it with you guys. All right, so let's go. Let's get into it. So as we said, momentum, speed. 52,500. I woke up in the morning. I couldn't believe it when I actually saw it. I saw this tweet from Fred Kruger. He's actually a very good account. If you don't already follow him, you should probably follow him. He says, Bitcoin flows have never been this strong. We did 50,000 fund inflows for the first half of Feb. which if it's not annualized, but monthalized, what do you call it? When, like, if you extrapolate that till the end of the month, you're talking about 100,000 per month, which is more than the peak of 2020. So we're now talking about this bull market gaining extreme momentum. And I know that there are some naysayers. In fact, I want to show you one of the naysayers. We know it's Charlie Munger, who called Bitcoin rat poison. Listen.
About 5 years ago, we asked Charlie Munger, we were sitting right there, what he thought of Bitcoin, and he said, rat poison. Yeah. Back then, it was about $100+ per Bitcoin. Today, it's 9,000. Is it still rat poison?
Well, probably rat poison squared.
About 5 years
ago. So he called it rat. He called it rat poison squared. That was Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger's partner. But if you now look where Bitcoin is, Bitcoin has actually a bigger market capitalization than Berkshire Hathaway. So even though Warren Buffett, and I do believe that he is one of the most successful investors in the world, he called Bitcoin rat poison. Today, that rat poison has more market cap than his entire company. And I think that we're only actually starting to grow, because what I'm starting to see is that a lot of people are saying there's not many resistances before we get to an all-time high. And that's really the talk on Twitter now, is that if you look at the Bitcoin chart, there are not many real resistances until you get to the all-time high. I mean, you can see it if you go onto the chart here and you just, like, let's just quickly zoom out and just look at what this chart structure looks like. And I'm not going to spend too much time on the charts, but I mean, there's maybe another resistance point here, which is 59. So we're at 52 now. Maybe there's another resistance point at 59. And then the next resistance points are in the 60s, and that's pretty much where the all-time high is actually where the all-time high is actually happening. Now, all this is happening whilst no one's here yet. Well, at least while no retail investors are here yet. So we know that the retail investors haven't even started to Google Bitcoin. The retail investors haven't even started watching YouTube shows. I'll remind you that in the peak of our bull market, in the peak of the cycle, we were getting 17, 18, 19, 20,000 people watching our shows live. Today, we're only on 5,000, 6,000 people watching the shows live. The retail investors haven't even come in here. And this cycle, up until now, has actually all been driven by the institutional investors. We spoke about that. It was all being driven by the capital allocation. That was what we spoke about yesterday. We said, like, this is the first cycle in history that is not being driven by retail and crypto Twitter bros that are all taking leverage. This is being driven by asset allocation and ETF investors and stuff like that. But what if I told you that they also haven't yet started coming in yet? So all this is happening while retail is not here, and actually whilst the institutional investors themselves actually aren't here either. So that's pretty much what I'm actually going to show you. So yes, we had another very good day yesterday on the ETFs. In fact, I won't say it's a very good day. We had a good day. It's 340 million net inflow for all the Bitcoin ETFs. You can see that the accumulation, this is the accumulation. You can see what's happening here is that we are accumulating parabolically. Like, this is the number of Bitcoin held by all the ETFs together. And you can see that in the first 20 days of trading, they had 42,000 Bitcoin. And in the last 4 days, they had $43,000. That's what you call basically a parabolic run in accumulation in Bitcoin. And this is all happening before the institutions have actually arrived. We spent some time yesterday talking about how, first the advisors go and see their clients, then the clients have to meet their investment boards, or they have to meet their clients, then they have to make a decision to actually deploy, and then only they give the instruction. And with that in mind, up until now, we've only got ourselves $5 billion, or we've got ourselves $5 billion into the BlackRock ETF and probably another $3, $4, $5 billion into all the other ones. But this is what the independent advisors are saying about Bitcoin. Listen to this.
I'm anticipating that by the time we get to the end of 2025, we're talking 2 years, we're going to see total inflows of more than $150 billion. We're only at 5 right now.
And what is going to propel? That's a big claim. That's a big number. What's going to propel that?
It really isn't all that big when you do the simple arithmetic. Individual investment advisors, independents, those that are operating their own firms, collectively manage around $8 trillion in assets, and 3/4 of them, in every industry survey done by DAC-FP as well as by Bitwise, all show that 3/4 of advisors say that they're going to allocate to these ETFs, and that their average allocation is going to be about 2.5% of assets. Do the arithmetic. $8 trillion times 77% times 2.5% is $150 billion worth of flows. And that's just independent advisors. It excludes the wirehouses, it excludes the regional broker-dealers, it excludes the institutional investors. Well, I'm anticipating.
So that just shows you that we're so early, not only in the retail cycle, retail hasn't arrived, but these guys also haven't arrived. These guys also haven't arrived with all of their wealth. So we're really, really, really in the beginning of the cycle. And in the beginning of the cycle, if you look at it, this is where we are when it comes to the charts. So that is one of the reasons why we think that the cycle may be much more aggressive than we actually thought. Also, I don't know if you guys saw this, but we've got, since the Bitcoin ETF, the start of the Bitcoin ETFs, $3 billion worth of gold ETFs have actually been dumped. And the obvious rotation is into Bitcoin, which is 13 times smaller than gold. So if you look at year to date, Bitcoin 23% up, gold 3% down, but $3 billion worth of gold ETFs actually been dumped onto the market, while the Bitcoin price is starting to do this. So it could be that now that there's an ETF that is actually available, what the guys are saying is, look, let's dump the some of our gold and actually put it into liquid gold or digital gold, into digital gold, or in fact more liquid gold. So this is the dynamic that is currently in play. And this is why a lot of people on Twitter and a lot of people out there, a lot of analysts now, are starting to look at this and going, hold on a second. If this carries on, we could see the all-time high much sooner than we think. We've been following this 4-year cycle, and we've said, look, the next time Bitcoin will hit its high 532 days after the halving, because that's what usually happens. We spent some time talking about it yesterday. We looked at previous halving cycles, and we said Bitcoin usually hits its all-time high 530 days after the halving cycle. I don't think anybody thought that we were going to hit the all-time high or come near the all-time high. Look, this is like a normal cycle. So you look at the normal cycle and you say, okay, look, let's look at the previous halving cycle. We only beat the previous all-time high after the halving. You see that? So we only beat the previous all-time high after halving, which is what people were probably expecting for this cycle. But if we carry on like this, it's going to go much further. And this is what TED Talks Macro says. He says, BlackRock AUM up 750,000 USD today. Bitcoin price to 1K. He said, the quick math holds up. Of course, we are set to see the numbers from the other providers. But if we carry on like this linearly, and we won't carry on like this linearly, we could get the all-time high in less than 20 days. That's how quickly he thinks we can get there. Then we get another analyst and he says, one tiny little resistance left at 57,000 on the vertical, which is what I showed you. And then bang, we go into all-time high. Horst says the same thing. He says, if this pattern repeats similar to previous instances, the next part of the cycle is the craziest, and it's going to be crazy. And again, we could get back to all-time high. Another one, Bitcoin looks like it wants the all-time highs before the halving. It's starting to feel a lot like either this is the scenario over here, or we are getting a little bit euphoric, and we could get one little correction before we carry on the run. So this is another one that says this is what happened after each golden break. This is the golden break on the Fibonacci. There's another one over there. There's another one over there. And this is where we are right now. You can see I'm just moved it away so that you guys could see it. So we're starting to tap, move up, tap, move up. James Van Straten, very serious account. He says, I was told by a few big bear accounts that I'm misleading my followers because I'm being a moon boy and calling all-time high before the halving. He says, honestly, suck yourself. Bitcoin is up 25% in a month. We went below 40. We went below 40 for 3 days. And I mean, if you look at how long this little trip, this little pump happened, I mean, you take it as a number of days. So let's look at a number of days. This is where we were at 38,500. And 22 days later, we are at 52,577. Things are happening really, 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 really fast in the cycle. I'm going to show you in a second what that actually means. But it is all happening much, much, much faster in the cycle. Now, one thing we need to as I said to you, it could be that people are starting to get a little bit euphoric, or it could be that there's some substance here. You've got to be ready to play both sides. On the euphoric side of it, we have to be aware of this chart over here. So this is the open interest, which is the leverage on all coins, except on all coins. This is the leverage in the crypto markets at the moment. Of course, this doesn't include CME. This is the crypto leverage. And you can see that the crypto leverage currently is pretty much the highest that it's been as far as this chart actually goes. This chart only goes back to March 2022. So the leverage is high, guys. The leverage is high. The leverage is very high. And that's why the other take here is that we can get one little move down before we continue to go up. Are we ready? Or one more dip? It could happen. It could happen. I don't have a view here. In fact, I do have a view. My view is that we've just come out of a correction. It would be crazy to me that we go up and then we just move down again. But it can happen. I'm just showing you that there is leverage in the market, and usually when there is leverage, you do get some kind of leverage flush. Now, what would I do if there was a leverage flush? I'd buy it up immediately. I'm just not very hopeful that there would be a meaningful leverage flush now, and that the prices would go down to any kind of price where we would want to be buying. So, I mean, keep your eyes open for it. It is something that we need to look at. And I mean, here, Rect Capital says there is only one last pre-halving retrace left, which is this dark blue circle. So if it doesn't happen before the halving, then it's game over. So I don't know. For me, I'm not very bullish on the correction right now. Am I buying anything? I'll show you one or two trades that I am going to take a bit later. But what I'm starting to realize more and more is that this cycle is happening much, much, much quicker than we anticipated. We kept saying, oh, there's 600 days to go and there's 530 days after the halving. But maybe not. Maybe not. So you remember Henrik. Henrik is the guy that came up with this thesis of a blow-off top. We had him on our show a while back. When he came up with the thesis of the blow-off top, it was in the bear market. And he's like, guys, we're about to head for a blow-off top. And people were like, what are you talking about, a blow-off top? And it turns out that he was the one that was right. And we had him on again with Raoul Paul a while back. And again, he said, there's going to be a blow-off top, but what happens after the blow-off top is very, very, very scary. So maybe he's right. Maybe he's right about the fact that there is going to be a blow-off top. And he says, remember, still a long way to go until the blow-off top. Don't listen to the bear. Stay tuned for the 𝗬𝗑 report. We will get him back on the show. And this is what I showed you. Earlier on in the thing, saying in the past, the time span from the golden break to the cycle top was 10 to 13 months. So that's the golden break. That's what we've just had. To the cycle top was 10 to 13 months. If we repeat the sequence, we can expect this cycle's top to be Q1 of 2025. Okay, so if we repeat this golden break cycle, which is exactly what happened, we've just broken the 618, and we continue to follow this golden break to top of cycle narrative, there's 10 to 13 months left, which would make this, 10 to 13 months, that's 300 and something days until the end of the cycle. You're talking about the end of the cycle. And that's, I saw Lady of Crypto said the same. She said crypto bull markets usually last 10 to 12 months from the break of Bitcoin's previous all-time highs. This has been consistent for every bull run. Why does this matter? Now that you know that when Bitcoin breaks 69,000, a 10-month countdown starts. You should be all out. If you don't take profits, it's all your fault. So, but she's talking about 10 months from the break of the all-time high. They're talking about 10 to 13 months from the end of the fib. This cycle could be going much faster than we actually think it's going to happen. And what Raoul Paul says is, he says, I firmly suggest that we remain in the greatest macro risk opportunities of our lifetime. Don't fuck this one up. So this is what the data is all pointing at. And if you're worried about the macro, and I am worried about the macro, I'm not worried about it, but keeping an eye on it, he goes, who cares about the Fed rate cuts? When you combine the Fed and Treasury activities, the net is an injection of $21 billion per month. So they're actually still putting money into the economy. This is one reason why tech, AI, crypto will all continue to pump. Fuck the physical economy. It's actually all about the online economy. So that's that's what I think it's all about. I think that things are happening much faster than we think. Much faster than we think. And speaking of happening much faster than we think, guys, tap! Scarecrows, tap! Tap, 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 tap. Go, 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 go. Tap, 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 tap. I need you guys tapping. Just before we carry on I'm going to show you in the next section, I'm going to show you a section on how you can make more Bitcoin. I'm going to just show you basically what I've been doing to make a lot more Bitcoin in the cycle. But before that, just one thing or two things. First of all, if you're in the Middle East and you're looking for a Middle Eastern exchange, a regulated, highly regulated Middle Eastern exchange, is an exchange called M2. They are one of our sponsors. They have got the highest yields on Bitcoin and ETH, up to 10 to 15%. They out of Dubai, or they're regulated in that region. There is a link below if you're in that region and you want to sign up, or if you're not, even if you're not in that region, and you want to earn those kind of yields, go and do that. Go and sign up for them now. It's very highly regulated, so just expect to do quite a big KYC because of the regulation. But ultimately, that's the part that's going to keep you safe and avoid another FTX, should we say, FTX type situation. So. I want to show you how I've been making extra returns on my Bitcoin. I've done this now twice. I've tested the thesis. It's, I think, quite a low risk thesis in the long term, and in the short term you can end up making more money. And the good thing is that you can do it through crypto and not through crypto. So I'll explain to you what the thesis is. So right now we know that the run has been very much a Bitcoin run, right? And so you're getting Bitcoin going up, and when the market gets heated, when the market gets too heated, Bitcoin goes down. And so you can see Bitcoin has been doing this in cycles. If you think about the psychology of these cycles, over here everyone's depressed, over here everyone's starting to get euphoric, over here everyone's starting to get depressed, over here everyone's starting to get euphoric. And so it's these kind of cycles. Now you can see from the chart that very soon we're probably going to get to some kind of euphoric phase, and then what's going to happen is we're going to start turning down. Now I've been using this cycle to actually land up making more Bitcoin on my Bitcoin. And the way that I've done it is actually something that is quite, quite simple. So I've been using MicroStrategy. And what I mean by I've been using MicroStrategy, I know that MicroStrategy is a leverage bet on Bitcoin, right? So I know that when the Bitcoin price goes up, the MicroStrategy goes up even quicker. And when the Bitcoin price goes down, the MicroStrategy price goes down even quicker. So you can see it here in the chart. So we put it for you guys in a chart. You can see that if the Bitcoin price went up 58%, MicroStrategy went up 78%. If the Bitcoin price went up 27%, MicroStrategy went up 66%. When Bitcoin goes down 15, MicroStrategy went down 17. Bitcoin went up 43%, MicroStrategy went up 62%. And so you can see that MicroStrategy is actually a leverage bet on Bitcoin. So that's exactly what I've been doing. When I feel that the sentiment is too heated, when I feel that people are too depressed, when we got to the 20, remember when we got to 20% down in the dip, I sent an instruction to my broker and I said, switch my MicroStrategy, switch my Bitcoin or my GBTC in that case. I'm going to try and get you the exact date and time. And I said, switch it to MicroStrategy. So at that time, MicroStrategy was trading at $456 and GBTC was trading at $35.69. Today, if you look at the price of MicroStrategy, the price of MicroStrategy today is $805. You see, the price of MicroStrategy is now $805. So in just a couple of days, in fact, the date that I did this was the 25th of January. Since the 25th of January, with a slight Bitcoin move, I've made 100% on my MicroStrategy trade. And so now when this trade gets heated, all I'm going to do is switch my MicroStrategy back into Bitcoin. And so what you'll end up doing is you say, look, when the cycle is heated, you switch your MicroStrategy back to GBTC, Bitcoin, or the ETFs. When the cycle is depressed, you trade out of your Bitcoin into MicroStrategy. And so what lands up doing is you start riding the wave. You start riding the wave up like that. You see, you guys mirrored the camera, clowns. You mirrored the camera. So now when my left is my left and my right is my right. So essentially what you're doing is you are playing this cycle. When you think that the market is getting when you think that the market's at the bottom of a correction or near the bottom of a correction, you sell your Bitcoin and you use the proceeds to buy MicroStrategy. When you buy MicroStrategy over here, and then it goes up in price. Now I want to show you what happened to my trade since the 25th of January. Let's take the 25th of January and let's take the GBTC price on the 25th of January. So the GBTC price on January 25th, let's quickly open it, just make sure we get the right day. January 25th, the price was $35.28. So let's just quickly open a Sheets. Let's quickly just get a Google Sheets. Let me just open a Sheets. 1 second. Let me get us a Google Sheet so we can see exactly what's happening here. Okay, Sheet. Okay, let's... Hold on, I'm just opening a Google Sheets first online. Oh man, 1 second. Okay, so we have a Google Sheets online. So we know that on the 25th of January, the GBTC price was $35. What is the price of GBTC today? Let's go here and check it out. GBTC. GBTC is just a proxy for the price of Bitcoin. So because the ETF now trades on a 1-to-1 to Bitcoin. So today, GBTC is trading at $47.21. So there we go. Let me show you what happened. $47. So call it, just for numbers' sake, $47. So what is the return that I've made on my GBTC? And let me make that a bit bigger for those of you who are using your mobile phones. I 47, hold on, let's make this a bit more scientific. 47 minus what I paid divided by what I paid equals, I've made a 34%, let me just make it, let's format it quickly, format, text, percentage. So I've made 34% return on, or Bitcoin has gone up 34% since that day. Now let's look at my MicroStrategy. So MicroStrategy on the 25th of Jan, so MSTR over here, MicroStrategy. Let's go to the 25th of Jan. I mean, I can tell you what the price was because I know what I paid. I paid $456, but let's just verify it on the thing here. 25th of Jan should be somewhere around here, $456. It's 100% right, $456. And what is the price today of MicroStrategy? The price today of MicroStrategy is 803. So 803. So how much money would I, if I just kept my money in Bitcoin, I would have made 34.29% returns. But because I bought MicroStrategy, I made double the return. I made 76%. And that just shows you how you can make the same thing. When you think that the cycle is overheated, switch your MicroStrategy. So theoretically today I should actually switch my MicroStrategy back into GBTC. So I never lose exposure to Bitcoin. I never lose exposure to, I'll never lose exposure to the underlying asset, which is Bitcoin. It doesn't happen. I'm always exposed to the market. I'm not out of the market, but I'm leveraging my Bitcoin trade in the market. And as a result of leveraging the Bitcoin trade in the market, I've doubled my returns. And now what I can do is I can take those extra returns and I can just reinvest them, and then I've got myself a whole lot more Bitcoin. Does that make sense? So let's just quickly play this example with like $1,000 just for fun. And let's say that I had $1,000 in the beginning and the price of GBTC was $35. So I would have bought $1,000 divided by GBTC. I would have had 28 GBTC shares, right? And so that $1,000, if I just kept it in GBTC, I would have had today 1,000, and I would have had $1,340. I would have had $1,340. But now I've got myself 1,000 because I invested it in MicroStrategy. I've got myself $1,760, which means I've got myself a whole lot more Bitcoin basically. So that is how you can leverage just by reading the cycles, or just reading hype and no hype in the cycle. That is how you can land up actually making more Bitcoin. Now I know what a lot of you are saying. a lot of you are saying, listen, that's great, but I'm a degen, and I don't trade stocks. I've got no way to trade stocks. I'm never going to buy MicroStrategy shares ever. Don't worry, guys. I got you covered. What if I told you you could do the same thing actually on the markets? And if I found you a proxy on the markets and I said, hold on a second, if you could do the same thing and not really lose that much exposure to your Bitcoin, but at the same time increase the amount of Bitcoin that you're making by just playing the cycles, you'd say, wow, that's amazing. So let me show you how you can do the same thing or something similar on the market. And what it is on stacks. So you know what stacks is. Stacks is, you can see that stacks is up 10.65% today. Shouldn't be any surprise to you that stacks is up, because when Bitcoin is up, stacks goes up. And when Bitcoin is down, stacks goes down. But stacks is over leveraged to Bitcoin because it's a Bitcoin layer 2, basically, right? So what is it? Well, you look at stacks. When Bitcoin goes up 58%, stacks goes up 100%. When Bitcoin goes up 27%, stacks goes up 70%. When Bitcoin goes up 43%, stacks goes up 52%. When Bitcoin goes up 35%, stacks goes up 97%. So at the top of the cycle, trade out of your stacks into Bitcoin. And when it's a crash, trade out of your Bitcoin into stacks. And what you're doing is you keep leveraging your returns up. Someone's saying, what about your tax obligations? Every country has its own tax obligations. I'm not a tax advisor, but you should speak to your tax advisor in your country. In the meantime, what I can tell you is that stacks is actually performing really, really, really well. So, and it is a layer 2 on Bitcoin. And for as long as Bitcoin continues to run, right now, I would say that stacks is probably the only bona fide layer 2 that's a real proxy on Bitcoin. And it's probably not the best, not the worst investment to be made in the world. But it's a way to leverage your Bitcoin and to make more Bitcoin in the cycle. So one way to do it is MicroStrategy, which is what I've been doing. The other way to do it is you can do it on stacks, which is another way to do it. All right, let's get into altcoins. But remember, before we get into altcoins, if you're not already subscribed to the channel, subscribe, because you can win the Banter bags. How do you win the Banter bags? Well, subscribe to Banter, subscribe to Banter Plus, get any exchange account with any crypto Banter exchange partner. Not only can you win the Banter bags, and we gave away the Banter bags to someone yesterday, and I got, 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕 was very, very, very upset with me. I won't even read you what the message that she sent me. It was a very bad message. But, I mean, you guys told me not that we can't give the prize to 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬 because she wasn't subscribed to Banter Plus. If you guys change your mind, I'll change my mind. So we'll do a vote, and if you guys say that 𝗕𝗬𝗕𝗬𝗕 should win, but we won't do the vote today, we'll do it next week, then she can win. Anyway, if you don't want to be caught out, just sign up to any crypto Banter exchange. Bybit, Bitget, Deribit, Bitflex, BingX. Just sign up to the exchanges. It's the only time that you've got an excuse to stop tapping. It's the only time. That and to smash the like button, the only 2 times you've got an excuse to stop tapping. That's it. All right, let's go into some more altcoin news. Let's look at the altcoins that are actually running. So Bitget, the token running, that usually means there's something going on their launchpad. 86 cents. I think that must be close to an all-time high. It should be very, very, very close to an all-time high. Stacks, I mentioned to you, is running. Dot, I'm going to start digging a little bit more into the Dot ecosystem, because I need to know what's going on after the hood there. Say must be in price discovery now. I'd be very surprised if Say wasn't in price discovery now. I mean, this is, let's say definitely very, very, very much in price discovery. Let's go into the top 200, and then I'm going to show you a trade that I think might be worth taking. Neutron, definitely also in price discovery. Let's see what else there is. So here's a list of tokens that are actually in price discovery. So I keep calling it Dementia. It's Dimension. Because I always get confused, Dime and Celestia, because you got the airdrop Dementia. Neutron, Pendle, 𝗏, all in price discovery. Say is in price discovery. Sui is also now in price discovery. Lots of money flowing into Sui, and that's where I think there may be a trade. Also, 𝗕𝗫𝗕𝗏, which is the AI play, also in price discovery. The reason why this one's in price discovery, it's actually quite funny. So if you look at stacks, this is a report that an asset manager, like a mainstream asset manager called Van Eck, and they predicted that stacks would become a top 30 asset in 2024. And they wrote this report on the 12th of 12/3/2023. And it happened, stacks became a top 30 asset in January of 2024. So things are happening much quicker than we expected. Now, the same asset manager, or an asset manager, I don't know if you could really call them an asset manager. They're a company that create ETFs, and they service the traditional finance sector primarily. 𝗵𝗘𝗧𝗧 was just under $60 in Q2 and Q3, and now the price is 624. And so 𝗵𝗘𝗧𝗧 again in massive price discovery. You know that we're in there. We bought that one to you a long time ago. Astroport, $100 million in TVL. Jose said they're just getting started. That's another one to look at. 𝗕𝗘𝗟𝗢𝗪 flipped Ethereum Classic and is about to flip Cosmos. No ways. No, it could never flip Cosmos. No ways. No, it can't be in fully diluted. No, maybe in market cap, but certainly not in fully diluted. Okay, so 𝗬𝗎 also flying. And here is where I think that there could be a trade. So, you know what 𝗬𝗎 is? 𝗬𝗎 is a bunch of developers that left Facebook. Facebook were developing this DM, which was like this new blockchain language and whatever else. And a team left, the teams were let go of Facebook because Facebook abandoned the project. When they abandoned the project, two teams broke away. The one was 𝗬𝗎, the one was 𝗤𝗏𝗏. And they both used this language, which is the Move language. And they both built blockchains using the Move language, right? Then what happened was the two of those were always in market cap, always priced together. The market cap of 𝗤𝗏𝗏 was always equal to the market cap of 𝗬𝗎. The market cap of 𝗤𝗏𝗏 was always equal to the market cap of 𝗬𝗎. When 𝗤𝗏𝗏 moved down, 𝗬𝗎 moved down. When 𝗤𝗏𝗏 moved up, 𝗬𝗎 moved up. But then something happened. What happened was that the market cap of 𝗬𝗎 went up because 𝗬𝗎 started to make all the right noises. So you can see over here, the market cap of 𝗬𝗎 is now 20 billion. But if you look at the market cap of 𝗤𝗏𝗏, the market cap of 𝗤𝗏𝗏 is probably 10 billion, 11 billion. Okay, it's up 10% because this morning on our morning call with front runners, I actually told them about this. I hope it wasn't them that degened this whole thing. But so where do I think the trade is here? The market has always priced 𝗬𝗎 and 𝗤𝗏𝗏 together, right? The market always priced 𝗬𝗎 and 𝗤𝗏𝗏 the same. Now 𝗬𝗎's had a run, and a lot of people are going, damn, they missed the 𝗬𝗎 run. They missed the increase in price from 10 billion to 20 billion, right? They go, damn, we missed it. 𝗬𝗎 made all the right noises. All the big traders got into 𝗬𝗎, and that they feel that they missed it. So logically, where would these guys go to try and make their money back? Or where would the people who missed that trade go to try and get their money back? Exactly. They would try and go to 𝗤𝗏𝗏 because they would get their money back. And because if you kind of look at 𝗤𝗏𝗏 is one of the only tokens where in the last 3 months, there's been like very little movement. Now, fundamentally, if I look at them fundamentally, from a language point of view, from an investor point of view, from a money point of view, 𝗤𝗏𝗏 and 𝗬𝗎 are the same. I think 𝗬𝗎's been making all the right noises. 𝗬𝗎's been developing the ecosystem a lot quicker. 𝗬𝗎's been driving messages and showing us TVL movement. And I think 𝗤𝗏𝗏 hasn't started, but that's what we should be looking out for. Because if 𝗤𝗏𝗏 start making the right noise, there may be a catch-up trade where 𝗤𝗏𝗏 actually tries to catch up to 𝗬𝗎. And that is a trade that you guys need to be looking at now before it actually starts going up. So that's one of the trades that I would actually be looking at. What else? I think, are there any more altcoins that we can degen into? Let's quickly look at the bubbles. Let's look at the bubbles quickly. And let's look at the newsroom. We haven't been in the newsroom for a long time, eh? Okay, MicroStrategy we know about. Mubi. There's a lot going on here. MicroStrategy buying more. Cathie Wood sold some. Yeah, we know Cathie Wood keeps rebalancing her portfolio. We do have Coinbase results later. Look out for the Coinbase results. I mean, I don't think that good results could pump the market, but if you are in Coinbase, good results actually could pump Coinbase. And then lastly, just a few things. So the first thing is, guys, in December about BetSwap, about the token. And let's just see what the token is doing, because I actually haven't been watching it very closely. I do have a bag, I've got to be honest. Okay, so it is pumping a little bit because of this. There's this buyback and burn. They buy back and burn 15% of the gaming revenue. Keep your eyes on this, and I'll tell you when this one becomes interesting. And remember, these guys are a sponsor. So, but I'm not talking about them because they are a sponsor now. I'm talking about them because I have a position in the token and because of all the news that I'm telling you. But as soon as Rollbit starts to pump, as soon as this 𝗕𝗫𝗕𝗕 narrative starts, then all of these guys are going to start. And this one's got like quite a relatively low market cap. It's got a fully diluted market cap of $29 million. So it's like quite a low fully diluted market cap. Anyway, listen, guys, I've got to get out of here. But remember, tap, kids, tap. See you guys again tomorrow. Until then, tap well, my friends.